NFL playoffs are here. Barkley sits out. Evans gets his record and his money. We've got college playoffs, and we are talking NFL rewards or awards. We got that and more next on Goode Sports. Thanks for joining us. I'm Randy Goode, and as always, we appreciate your guys' support. We are approaching 200 subscribers. We're only 13 away, hoping that we can have that this week and meet that milestone. And so we're so grateful for everybody. Thankful for all the work that's being put in. We've had some really good things going on, and we had more this last week. We had more views than we've had all year. So thank you to everybody, your support, your likes, your comments. We love the comments. So if you haven't hit that subscribe button yet, please do so. We so much appreciate it. First, it's a new year, and the NFL playoffs are here, and we want to talk about that. But the first thing I want to talk about is Mike Evans, what he has done in the NFL. He was injured for many games this year, and it was a great moment. If you didn't get to watch it, I recommend going back and taking a look. At the end of the game, there was some suspense. As soon as Tampa Bay gets the ball, they stop them on defense. They get the ball. Normally, it's just a kneel down. I'm sure different people have different perspectives of this. But Tampa Bay went, and Mike Evans, here they is with 30 seconds to go. They have the game. They're up a touchdown, and normally they do kneel down. But Mike Evans is 5 yards away from tying Jerry Rice's all-time record. So they line him up. They throw him the ball. I think he got like 8 yards. The team celebrated, and he got an extra $3 million for that catch. I think hopefully his quarterback was Baker Mayfield was paying for that dinner, but good for him. What a cool moment. Trent, what'd you think about that moment? It was just awesome. Tying Jerry Rice, that's a big deal.
You know I love me some Mike Evans stats.
Yeah.
Gosh,
Yeah.
I love that guy.
Yeah. 11 years in a row? Is that what it is?
11
Wow.
years.
Yeah.
I think what's incredible is what it meant to that team.
It was cool when he won.
Yeah. I mean, what it meant to that team was huge.
Yep.
The fact that he got injured and battled back from injury. I mean, I think at one point in this podcast, we actually stopped and said, well, there goes Mike Evans' record because he was hurt.
Yep.
And he came back. He got the receptions, the yards he needed. And honestly, I just couldn't think of a better person for it to go to. That guy has been balling out for a long time.
Yeah.
And you can tell what he means to the community there down there in Tampa.
Yeah.
And you can tell what he means to his teammates by the fact that the way they celebrated that was huge.
Awesome.
And I know for Mike Evans, he said something along the lines of, yeah, I'll take my family out to maybe the casino and we'll have a nice night.
Yeah.
But, for Mike Evans, it's nothing about the money. Just like that guy, he just loves the fact that he could go out there and just be his best self.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I love it for me personally because I want to see him do it longer,
It was so cool. I love to see the joy. I just love it. And when he got up, that was he was so pumped. It was so awesome. And you see his teammates jumping up and down.
Yep.
That's cool.
This is what I think's cool too is we've only ever seen this done by one other person in NFL history.
In the history
of the NFL, we've only seen one other person ever do this, and he has the opportunity to do something that no one else in the NFL has ever done.
Yeah.
In the history of the NFL.
Yeah.
So I think it's exciting for people who are living in today and now and are football fans today.
Yeah.
You're getting to literally witness history.
He definitely, by doing this, climbs the ladder.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's impressive.
Yeah.
Very impressive. So good for him. Good for the team. It was an awesome moment. And on a different note, when I saw that, I was like, cool for him, cool for Baker Mayfield being a part of it. The coaching staff did this. I thought it was awesome. But on the other side, I immediately went and thought about Saquon Barkley. Here he is sitting at home playing his old team, and here he has 100 yards away from a 40-year-old record. Eric Dickerson, he was sweating bullets. He wanted to keep this record. Saquon, First you're going against the Giants, who are terrible. The record would have been broke at halftime or early in the third quarter.
Mm-hmm.
And Philadelphia, I mean, I do give them credit. They're thinking long term, and I get that. But man, they did miss a moment. And when you watch Mike Evans and the team celebrate like they did, you can't help but feel extra for Saquon Barkley.
The Mike Evans part did make it hurt a little bit.
It does, because you watch a team. It wasn't just Mike Evans' word. Everybody celebrated with him. And they could have done that with Saquon Barkley. Now, if they win the Super Bowl,
no one's going to care.
Yeah, hopefully they do for him. But man, that was a missed opportunity. What do you think about it? What do you think about the decision?
It wouldn't have been my decision.
Okay.
This is the reason. Personally, this is the reason I wouldn't have made that decision. And I talked about this with Mike a little bit. Is he does this? He's instantly in the Hall of Fame. Mm-hmm. He's not going to not make the Hall of Fame if he does this. He instantly goes in the Eagles Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
He instantly will be the MVP, which the Eagles haven't done since the AFC the AFL and the NFL combined.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, he would have
the first Eagle MVP.
It probably cost him the MVP.
Yeah, so
and a record.
He could have been in the Hall of Fame, had the record, Eagles Hall of Fame, and MVP.
Yep.
All in one game. And now there's a possibility. There's a strong possibility that Saquon doesn't make the Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
there's a strong possibility he doesn't make the Eagles Hall of Fame.
Especially with the longevity.
There's a strong possibility that he may never get an MVP. And there's a strong possibility he never breaks the record. So for me personally, it's not the decision I would have made. I understand where they're coming from. But I do have good news. I got great news. I don't want to share it with you, Randy.
All right, share with me.
Saquon Barkley average carries per game was about 22. On those carries, he averaged 5.8 yards. In one game, on average, he would rush for 128 yards on average. So if he would have played that one last game, he would have, on average, reached 2,133 yards. With a combined, he has actually, if you want to look at his combined stats with catching and rushing and receiving, he has 2,283 yards, 278 yards receiving, 33 catches on an average of 8.4. Let me just tell you, for any of the fans of football out there, you don't even have to be an Eagles fan to see this. You actually got to witness history, because the greatest running back performance in a year just happened.
Yeah.
And you can go and look at the stats, and I'm now going to read off some of Eric Dickerson's. So Eric Dickerson actually attempted 34 more rushing attempts than Saquon Barkley did this year. And even if Saquon would have played that last game, on average, Eric Dickerson would have still rushed for another 12 additional rushing attempts over what Saquon did. And Saquon would have beat his record by about 30 yards on average. And so if you look at it, he averaged 5.6 yards a carry, which is 0.2 less than Saquon. His combined yards, because he did receive some, his receiving yards was 139 on 21 catches, so he has 8.7 yards, which is a little bit better than Saquon. But if you're talking about just from a pure rush standpoint,
this is the best year.
This is the best year that we've ever seen in the NFL for a running back. And we can sit back, we can look at the stats, we can look at how many times he rushed the ball, how many times he rushed on average, how many yards he rushed per game, and we can say that it's sad to not see him break the record. Yeah. But as a football fan and a sports fan in general, it is exciting to say that we got to see one of the greatest performances in running back history, and maybe the greatest performance in running back history for a year.
Yeah, and you take into consideration earlier on in the season when he could have broke his own record, and he says, "Nah, feed the boys, I'm good." I mean, his humility. This is what it's done for me. He has drawn me to the Eagles. I'm rooting for them. I just hope that karma, whatever, blesses him, because it's not only the record. He was going against his team, his former team. And what a storybook moment. I mean, you could not have asked for a better scenario, but for the betterment of the team and the people that, voted, and it would not surprise me at all if Saquon said, I'll hold out.
Yeah.
I'll wait.
You know what's kind of funny though? Have you ever heard this? What was it? Oh, there's a video. I don't remember what it was from. It was maybe a movie. It was a clip that I saw, and I'm just thinking about it right now. And he has a cigarette in his hands, and he kind of just flips it, twirls it around, he puts it in his mouth, and he's talking to this girl, and something along the lines. She basically says, "Why do you always have that cigarette in your mouth, but you never light it?" And he said something along the lines of, "The power to hold something that'll kill you, but not let it kill you, is almost more powerful than anything else in the world."
Mm-hmm.
And for Saquon to have the ability to basically embarrass his former team and the members of his former team,
Yeah.
but to then not do it is almost more powerful than doing it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But anyways,
Well, congratulations to Saquon Barkley. Incredible year. Incredible year. Hope Philly goes on and does great things. And Mike Evans, fantastic, incredible, great moments. I'm just gonna share with you the craziest play maybe of the year. In the Denver Kansas City game, this would be normally Kansas City's type of play that would help win a game or something like this, but since they didn't need to win, it bounced the other way, and it went Denver's way. But Devon Ville, I don't know how to pronounce the last name. Bo Nix rolls out from like 3 yards away. He's getting rushed, and the ball, he sees somebody in the end zone. He throws it to one person. It hits them, hits somebody else, then it hits somebody else, and the fourth person, Devon's there to get the touchdown. I think that was the craziest play of the year. Good for him. I don't know if you know who all you take credit for, but both teams touched it and multiple touches. But good for him. I would say that would be the play of the craziest play of the year. Good for him. And what a win for Denver to go in and absolutely destroy the Chiefs. We'll see how they do going forward. We'll talk about them coming up here.
do you think they lost on purpose, Randy?
They sure helped them, didn't it?
You think they lost on purpose?
I think that everything lines up well for them, no matter what they do.
Do you think they celebrated in the locker room afterwards? I'm just curious. I'm curious.
There's a little suspicion.
What
do you think? You're hinting.
I would have popped a bottle. To not play the Cincinnati Bengals or have the opportunity to play the Cincinnati Bengals?
Cincinnati is one of the probably 4 teams in the league I would play.
You know what player led the league in sacks this year?
Hendrickson.
From the Bengals.
Yeah.
You know what player
17 and a half, I think.
what player led the league in receiving yards this year?
Chase.
Yeah. You know what player led the league in passing yards this year?
I'm going to go Burrow.
Yeah.
I mean, that is...
And I'm pretty sure he leads the league in touchdowns. I'm not positive.
Yeah. I mean, it's unbelievable. Everything, the stars line up so well. It is unbelievable, but it works out for the Chiefs again, even when they're bouncing the ball. That, who knows? Maybe they gave some taps to help Denver out here.
All I got to say is, do I blame them? No. It's a smart move.
No. Well, as crazy as that play, I thought it would be good to talk about NFL awards. They're coming out.
Oh,
so I'm going to first.
I'm pretty fired up about this. I got an order.
You got it in order?
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to go MVP. That's the big one right off the bat.
Do you want to leave that for last and go reverse order?
We can go. Okay, well, let me go Offensive Player of the Year then.
Okay. Yeah.
Offensive Player of the Year. I think this is a clear runaway, but I'm going to give a few candidates. Okay, you can go with any of the top quarterbacks, whether it's Burrow, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, whatever. But I would say other non-quarterbacks, you got Derrick Henry had a great year, Jamar Chase, and Saquon Barkley.
And Jamar Chase, man, he really... They actually have, in the betting odds, they have Derrick Henry higher.
Yeah.
I don't know. Jamar Chase, he really put a show on.
Yeah, Jamar Chase, I would have him above Derrick Henry.
This is the thing, is like the way he went about it was almost... I mean, like
and
Tyreek
he started slow. Do you remember? It started slow.
Like Tyreek Hill's season last year, it kind of withered off at the end.
Oh, Tyreek.
Yeah, but Jamar Chase's season, like it just kept on getting better and better. It was like almost every week he scored 2 touchdowns and had 120 yards.
Yeah.
Like that's insane.
Yeah. Boy, is he going to make the bank.
Oh my gosh.
He is going to make some money.
Welcome to the richest player in the NFL. Congratulations.
Who do you have number 1 for Offensive Player of the Year?
So
I think it's going to be a landslide. Unfortunately,
this is what's
because
difficult.
it's going to work out.
This is what's difficult. I really don't want the MVP to go to a quarterback.
I know.
I hate that we witnessed one of the greatest seasons in history, and you have Jared Goff right below him in the betting odds. Oh my gosh,
That's unbelievable.
Are you kidding me?
Oh my gosh.
Are you kidding me? That's stupid. Anyways,
That is.
no, I'm gonna, man. Let me just say, I'll just put a scenario out there. If I don't think Saquon will win MVP, but if he did for some reason,
Yeah.
I could realistically see Jamar Chase winning Offensive Player of the Year.
If he won MVP, yes.
Yes, but my pick for Offensive Player of the Year for 2024-2025 is Saquon Barkley.
I totally agree. I think he's going to win in a landslide because I think he's going to be punished because he doesn't take the snaps from the center.
Nope.
I think it's a quarter. At this point, call it a quarterback MVP.
I think they should.
Because he's clearly
Most
the
valuable
MVP.
quarterback.
Yeah. I mean, it's garbage. I would say Saquon,
Like, think about
Jamar
it.
Chase.
What does a receiver have to do to win MVP? Because you know who threw him all those touchdowns?
Yeah.
Probably the quarterback that wins MVP.
Yeah.
Like, if you're a receiver, at least with a running back,
It's hard to have a chance.
yeah, I mean, it's just it doesn't make any sense. And you're never going to vote a defensive player these days as an MVP.
What do you think the odds are that Saquon will get MVP? The actual MVP. They've got to be low, right? Because it's a quarterback
Yeah.
award and he didn't get the.
I mean, this is the thing is I think they polled some of the people early on like a couple weeks ago, and I think Saquon had like at least a couple votes.
Yeah.
I mean, realistically, I could see him coming in second. Like realistically, votes wise, I could think he'd come in second. I think it's gonna be closer than we actually think, only because there's probably voter fatigue with quarterbacks at this point. I would hope so, anyways.
Mm-hmm.
The only person. So, like, we'll get into the MVP thing. The only person that I think is really viable is Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson. I think with Joe Burrow, he would be viable 110%. But with their record, I just think there's no way.
Yep.
But the thing about Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, I think you can almost instantly remove Lamar Jackson because of some of the struggles he had in this season. And he also has Derrick Henry on his team, who's going to be in the offense MVP category, which it doesn't always look great for a quarterback who's going to possibly get MVP, who also has a possible MVP style running back. And there's voter fatigue for the fact that he's won MVPs before.
I think Saquon probably his odds of winning went down 70%.
Oh, yeah.
Not that he would have won or not, but if he would have played in that last game and got the record, I think he would have had a decent chance.
No, I don't even think it's decent. I think there was no way they were going to give it to someone else. In fact, if they would have gave it to someone else other than Saquon, if he broke the record, I think there would have been so much outrage that they probably would have changed things.
I think it went from he's most likely going to get it to he's not going to get it.
Yeah.
Because anyway, okay.
Offensive Player of the Year, Saquon Barkley.
Okay, so we got Saquon Barkley as Offensive Player of the Year. I'm going to go with Defensive Player of the Year. Okay, so here's a couple candidates that I've got down. Okay, you got T.J. Watts, you got Trey Hendrickson, who we just talked about, Myles Garrett, Patrick Surtain II. I've got Patrick Surtain.
I'm going to be honest with you.
I think he's going to win it.
I thought it was absolutely disgusting where Trey Hendrickson sits on this.
Yeah.
So disrespectful.
17 or 17 and
like,
a half sacks.
Who do they have a problem
2
with?
forced fumbles.
You know what? Like, actually should be more of a point for Trey Hendrickson is that the back end for the Bengals,
It's terrible.
Their secondary,
Their defense is terrible.
terrible.
And
And the guy's still getting sacks, which
Yeah.
means you have to be quick
Yeah.
to the ball.
Yep.
I don't know. Personally, it's going to be hard for TJ Watt not to get it. My personal pick, if I was just going to like do a heart pick, would be Trey Hendrickson.
Mm-hmm.
I just think I think there's so many reasons why I would go with that. But for realistic purposes, I'd probably say Patrick Surtain.
You think Patrick?
Yeah.
So do I. Okay, so we both have Patrick Surtain getting it. He had 4 interceptions, but it's hard to get interceptions when they just don't throw the ball your way at all.
If they give it
highest rated cornerback in the league.
Yeah, if they give it, I mean, I watched some Patrick Surtain games where they like legitimately just didn't throw the ball his way, and I completely understood. Like it made sense.
Yeah, you're seeing top receivers.
Yeah.
When every week you have your top receiver has the worst game against them.
Yeah.
I mean, that's...
I would understand if they gave it to TJ Watt. Their defense was just so tremendously, like, I mean, they were so good for so long for the beginning of the season. They kind of withered a little bit in the end.
The thing about TJ Watt, so he did miss a few games. He had 11.5 sacks, so obviously much less, but he did play a few less. But he had 6 forced fumbles, 2 fumble recoveries.
That's huge.
I mean, he is absolutely blowing up a game every time he plays.
No, like I said, I completely understand they give it to TJ Watt. I've always felt like a lockdown corner is more valuable in my opinion, but just because they're rare.
Yeah.
I don't know.
A real true island lockdown corner is rare.
Yes.
You have really good ones all the time.
And that's who Patrick Surtain is.
But Surtain is that next level.
This is the thing is like, there's a lot of teams that are doing defensive end or defensive tackle by committee these days. Like that's not rare. Yeah. It used to be like the Nick Bosa's of the world were like you had to have one on your team to even be in contention for a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Like the Eagles, like we're in contention for a Super Bowl and we don't have a single defensive end on our team that I would say is a Nick Bosa caliber.
Well, you look at Denver. Denver doesn't have one of these top guys, and they lead the league in sacks.
Yeah.
It's their scheme
so
and whatnot.
For me personally, I think the dominant defensive end, defensive tackle just isn't as important these days. Not that getting sacks isn't important. Don't get me wrong. Don't change my words up.
Yeah.
But I think they're just so rare. The Patrick Surtains in the world are so rare that I just think there's no way.
They are rare. Okay, so now let's move on to Rookie of the Year.
Offensive Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, offensive. So we've got Jaden Daniels, Bo Nix, Brock Bowers, Drake May. I know Michael wants a McConkey in there, but and a few other. But
lad,
who do you have?
The wee lad.
I think this one's going to be pretty easy.
This will be a landslide. This is the thing: is outstanding it is to see Brian Thomas Jr., Malik Neighbors, and Brock Bowers have the seasons they've had, and Brock Bowers in his own set a tight end record.
Yeah, he's awesome.
As amazing as that is to see. None of those players took their team from a top 2 draft pick to a playoff contention, and they could create some serious waves in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I will not be surprised. I will not be surprised one bit if we come back here next week and you see Jaden Daniels and the Commanders beat the Tampa Bay Bucks.
Oh, yeah. Very winnable game.
Yeah, very winnable game for them. And no rookie. I mean, that's all they did. They went out and got a quarterback, and he's made that much of a difference. I hope they be careful with him and we don't have another Robert Griffin III situation. Yeah. But I think he's by far the Rookie of the Year, and I just don't think that you can make an argument for any other of those players that were really that important to their football team.
So you're going to like this next one.
Okay.
Defensive Rookie of the Year. We've got, I don't know if you've heard of him, Quinyon Mitchell.
Yeah.
You got Jared Verse, he's the linebacker for the Rams. Cooper DeJean, another rookie Eagle. Chop Robinson, and Malik Mustafa makes the list for the 49ers as a safety. He is a wrecking machine.
Yeah, he is.
So who would you have as number 1?
So this is what's kind of interesting about this word is the betting odds has had Jared Verse for a while, which is so funny to me because his teammate Braden Fisk is so much better of a football player.
Yeah,
and I'm like, what?
I don't think
Jared Verse is a good player.
Yeah,
but he had like 4.5 sacks. His defensive tackle, other rookie on his team, has 8.5 sacks and 2 forced fumbles. They literally started to make up a word for him or a thing for him saying you got to enter at your own Fisk. The guy is a gremlin at defensive tackle.
Yeah.
No one wants to see that guy. And his teammate who has less sacks in a more sack reliant position is getting the MVP, the defensive Rookie of the Year odds.
Yeah,
I don't get it.
He's like,
it doesn't make any sense to me. The guy is way better.
Are the betting odds for him?
For Jared Verse,
really?
Not for Fisk.
Okay. Well,
and they're on the same team.
Yeah. Well,
which means you watched the film of Jared Verse.
Who would you pick? Because I would say Quinyon Mitchell.
Once again, this is super biased.
I know, I understand, but I'm not.
I
I've got Mustafa in
this
here.
This is what's actually hard about this is if I go into the conversation of saying a lockdown corner is the most important thing you can have, Cooper DeJean, stats wise, is actually
Cooper's third
yes
highest rated cornerback
in the NFL.
in the NFL.
Yeah.
Third.
Yeah, but he didn't play all the games. He
Yeah.
didn't come in until like week 4. So
You-
that's an argument you can
guys, your GM knocked it out of the park.
Yeah.
Because your weaknesses are 2 of the top rookies
make
right
of the
now.
year.
And not just rookies, cornerbacks.
Yeah. So it's hard for me to make a statement saying Quinyon Mitchell should win it when I feel like
think
technically
it's
speaking, Cooper's the better player as of today. Now I don't think. Listen, they play 2 completely different positions that have the same name.
Yeah. I
Slot
understand.
cornerback and a
yeah.
outside cornerback. They are 2
totally different.
completely different
Yeah.
positions.
Yeah.
A slot cornerback is a weapon.
Yeah.
It's a Swiss Army knife.
Gadget.
And an outside cornerback is someone who is specialized in one very particular thing.
Yeah.
So, anyways, I'm actually gonna not go with the Eagle.
No way.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, I vote Braden Fisk. I
okay.
think defensive tackles, dominant defensive tackles,
yeah.
are in the same verse. Also, one of the rarest things to come by.
Yeah.
You just don't see defensive tackles who are game changers.
Well, think about how they got him and replaced one of the best of all times. I mean, they
Aaron
got
Donald.
back to back. I mean, that's pretty
Yeah.
pretty good fortune. For
Yeah,
them.
I mean, if he keeps this up, he'll get paid very well. I just think
Wow.
I think defensive tackles, talented ones who can get after the quarterback and play the run, are rare to come by. And I think he's a up and coming young stud. And I just think that he's the better player between him and Jared Verse.
All right. Well, now let's move on to the big one. The grand.
Whoa, no, there's one more.
What is it?
Comeback player of the year.
Comeback player of the year.
You didn't do that one?
No, I didn't.
Oh, this one's easy though.
Okay, who do you got?
Joe Burrow.
Joe Burrow.
Easy.
Easy peasy.
I mean, it's either that or Sam Darnold.
Sam Darnold.
But Sam Darnold's stats aren't Joe Burrow's stats. And
No.
Joe Burrow actually came back.
Yeah, but
Sam was always there. He just wasn't playing.
Sam, though, entered the league with all this hype and has petered
it's true.
out and was terrible. I mean, another team gave up on him. Didn't play last year, almost any snap at all for the 49ers. Came out of nowhere, and their team was awesome, and he played really well. I'm actually going to go, not that he's better, but I'm going to go Sam Darnold.
Oh, okay.
Comeback player of the year.
You know what's funny, though? Is
Yeah.
they have a really good issue on their hands with him. They do. They got J.J. McCarthy,
Yeah.
who isn't costing them anything.
Yeah. Perfect
And
scenario.
they got a quarterback who they can franchise tag.
Yep.
Hopefully get him to a long-term contract. Let
Yeah.
JJ sit.
Yep.
And if anyone gives you a good offer for JJ, you take it. If they don't, then you let him sit, and eventually, hopefully, he takes over Sam.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
they got
they're-
a good issue.
Yeah, the Vikings are definitely on the rise. They're looking good. So, MVP.
Yep.
We've talked already a little bit about it.
Yep.
You've got Josh Allen, 28 touchdowns, but I think he has like 12 rushing touchdowns.
Yep.
You got Lamar Jackson. I think he's got like 41 touchdowns, 4 rushing touchdowns. So a little more on the touchdown side of things.
I think it's clear.
Saquon Barkley.
I think it's so clear.
Who do you think?
I think it's Josh Allen.
I do too.
I mean, if you think about who the Buffalo Bills would
He's
be
gonna win.
without him,
That's exactly what I was going to say. Everything.
they would be terrible.
Everything on that team.
Yeah.
You give him a mediocre quarterback, and they are talking NFL draft, and they would have been for a while.
I just think that like
I'm with you.
that
MVP
team-
Josh Allen, good for you. You deserve it.
and like James Cook, they were finally excited to have a running back that was good.
Yeah.
But like he even petered off a little bit at the end of the year.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, they are literally so Josh Allen reliant.
They are.
And he's the
It's-
only quarterback, other than the Denver Broncos situation,
Yeah.
to beat the Chiefs.
Yeah.
And he did it well.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah.
No, Josh Allen in the big games, he stood out, played really well,
Yep.
and he's beating you in multiple ways. Josh Allen, I think, to me,
Oh my gosh.
unfortunately for Saquon, he's not going to get
You
it.
know what? We forgot one more too. We can't leave that one out. Coach of the year odds.
Oh, okay. I think it's going to the Vikings this year.
You think so? That's
Yeah.
who's leading it is Kevin O'Connell.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
O'Connell's getting it. I think
Yeah.
I think he If you look at Dan Campbell, for example,
Well,
or
that's what I was
Gamble,
gonna say. The only
but
argument I can make is Dan Campbell
but
had
he
to
was,
overcome so many injuries.
yeah, but late in the season though, and I'm not saying he didn't, but later on in the season, and he didn't lose certain people that were at the highest level.
Yeah, they never lost their quarterback.
They didn't lose their quarterback. You got Gibbs. You've got St. Brown. You've got huge pieces that were still there. Not to say it wasn't hard, but they were expected to be where they're at or close to it.
That's true.
O'Connell, nobody expected the Vikings.
Yeah.
So that's who I would give it to. All right. Now we're going to move on to the NFL, our picks. I think it's appropriate to talk about how things go. Now, we do have the playoffs coming up, so I'm not sure if we start over or if we continue.
No, I'm good to be done if you want to be done.
But if you talk about who the champion is for the regular season, here's where it went down. This last week was one of our worst weeks of the year, actually.
Not great.
So if you ever had an opportunity to catch up, this was the week. I chose a different route. So I went 3-4, Trent went 3-4, and Drew went 4-3.
Ooh, go
Here
Drew.
is how the year ended. Yep, Drew was climbing up, little too late. Okay, but here's where Drew ended 52-31.
Yep.
Okay, he gets third place out of 3. Good job, bronze medal.
Oh, yeah.
It's a podium.
I was
Technically
53.
out of 4.
Okay.
Cameron just stopped voting after a while.
Yeah, so that's true. Cameron got 4th because a poor guy can't be here and join us. But 53-30 for me, and Trent pulls it out 55-28. Thank you, Jets, for blowing that for me because I could have possibly won that game if Miami would have won, and then we could have tied.
Jets.
The Jets win an absolutely meaningless game that cost them significantly into draft order, but good for you.
Isn't the Jets game too? You asked if we had to add one more game, what it would be. And
Yeah,
the Jets Dolphins.
And I was gonna pick the Jets. I actually was like, go ahead. I thought for sure. The reason I picked the game was I thought you were, and then you said it, and I go no, and I switched on the spot and lost. So, I did that twice, and I lost twice. So. That's congratulations to you for the regular season win. I'm still in the playoffs the way I look at it. I'm just going to beat you in the playoffs. So we'll start
All
going
right.
forward, going there. Let's talk about the games that are coming up.
Okay.
Playoffs are here. What's going to go down? Who's going to win? Let's start off with this game is not what you probably want for your first game. Now, I would have loved to have played a Tampa Bay.
Actually, I didn't want to play Tampa Bay.
Oh, I would not want to play Green Bay, though.
No, I would actually much rather play Green Bay.
Really?
This is actually good for us.
Okay.
I didn't want to. I wouldn't have hated to play Washington.
Yeah, I would have
would-
rather played both of those teams.
I wouldn't have hated to play Washington, but I really didn't want to play Tampa Bay, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
The reason why I don't want to play Tampa Bay, which we might end up still playing them, but the reason why I didn't want to play Tampa Bay is because Todd Bowles, he has something on Jalen Hurts. I don't know whether he has a crude picture of him hidden in a closet or
A voodoo doll that
or
works or
saved text messages or a voodoo doll from I don't know. But for some reason, Jalen just every time we play the Bucks, it's like Todd Bowles has his number.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know what to do about this because
Yeah.
it's like the guy plays like an all-star quarterback for majority of teams.
Yeah.
And then he plays the Bucks, who have never historically been
No.
great. They've been good,
Yeah.
but not great. And we can't do anything. It's embarrassing.
So who do you have Green Bay, though? Eagles. Who do
Oh,
you have
sorry,
winning
my
this game?
bad. I got on a little
No, that's
tangent
okay.
there.
That's okay.
Yeah, I mean I think this is a pretty easy game for me.
Okay.
To be
Eagles-
honest with you, this Green Bay team, they just lost Christian Watson, which is I'm sure going to be difficult for them.
And Love's banged up.
Yep, and Love's a little banged up. Sounds like he's going to play, so it's not the end of the world. I'm taking the Eagles.
Fly,
and
Eagles, fly. Okay, well, I am definitely going with the Eagles on this. I am rooting for them, so I am skewed a little bit, but I think they've the running game is going to be interesting. Who wins this matchup? Obviously, it comes down to turnovers all the time, but I think the Eagles are set to do really well, and I think this is going to be the Eagles. Drew, who do you have in this game in Philly?
Oh, it's in Philly. Wow. I'm definitely going Eagles on this one.
Eagles.
And I have a green watch that every time I win it or wear it,
We
The
win.
Eagles win.
You know what's
So I
actually
will be wearing them for the rest of the season.
You know, it's
Okay.
actually not good though, Drew. This is actually terrible. So I had a lucky jersey that I wore all year long
Mm-hmm.
when we were winning.
Yeah.
Yep. And I never stopped wearing it. It's the Darius Slay
Darius
Jr.
Slay. Yep.
Yep. And then we lost to Washington when I was wearing it. And I have a rule: if we lose in a jersey, then I swap it out with a new one.
So
but
you
we
don't know.
lost, and then I didn't wear a jersey for the New York Giants game because it was during church. And then we went and looked at the property.
Oh.
So I never put a jersey on.
Oh no.
So
So you don't know what to do.
now I don't have a jersey
no.
that has a consistent win to it.
Well, at
This
least
is a
to
big
watch,
moment.
I think what I'll do
I'm
is I'll
gonna
just
keep wearing it
bring
until we lose.
I'll just bring all my jerseys.
You want my Brock Purdy jersey?
No, I don't. I'll bring all my jerseys, and just depending on how the game's going, I might swap them out each quarter.
Oh, there you go. Sometimes you have to do
That's good.
things. I've done a lot worse things. That is a topic for another time. What is the craziest things that you have done to try to help your team win? That is a good one. We need to talk about that, Drew. Okay, Minnesota versus the Rams. I'll go first on this one. I've got Minnesota win this game.
You don't think the Rams?
Nope.
Did it in them?
I think the Rams are now. I could be wrong. This could not age well. Things like that always happen. I think they're overrated. I think Minnesota is a very good, solid team, and I think they're going to win. I mean, like I said, I could be totally wrong, but I think it's going to be a pretty easy win for them. Minnesota, although they just got shellacked.
That's
but
what
The
this is.
Lions, yeah.
That,
Listen,
that is
I
the only thing that
actually-
makes me nervous, and no experience for Sam Donald deep down.
That
Both
deep in
Vikings-
the
coming off a
playoffs.
loss.
Yep.
Both teams.
That Vikings defense is crazy good.
Yeah.
I know, and they hit hard.
But
and they
you know
stop
why they're crazy good?
Why
It's
is
because
that?
the interceptions, the turnovers they force.
Yeah,
But you know who doesn't have turnovers? Matthew Stafford.
Yeah, they lost to the Seahawks.
It's like look at me and tell me that Matthew Stafford's going to go in there and throw picks to this team, and that this Vikings team relies on those turnovers to win.
I think
Their offense is good, but it's not like.
I don't want to be a Matt Stafford pooper. I think he's had a great career.
And we just
but
talked
he is
about
not
two
a-
possible Rookie of the Year candidates.
He is not. Yeah, but he has not impressed me. I don't know.
Listen, I'm going to say Minnesota, but I want everyone out there, the fans, to know that I'm thinking about the Rams.
Okay, so you're saying they have a chance, and they do have a chance when, But let me just go over Matthew Stafford's stats: 20 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. It's not impressive. QBR 64. He had a lot of yards. We'll see how Puka does, but
Yeah, but he also didn't have Cooper Kupp for half the season.
he did. But 20 and 8.
He didn't
is not,
have Puka for multiple
I'm not
games.
saying 28 is bad because he is a very good quarterback, but that's not 40 and 4 or 5 like Lamar Jackson. He's not what he used to be. He's still good, and he can still have his moments. But I just personally haven't
This
been
is the
impressed.
thing, though,
I could be wrong.
Is what you got to admit, even as a 49ers fan, what you got to admit is he has it.
Oh, he does.
He has
I
it.
totally agree.
He is a true-blooded winner.
And he has experience.
And that's the thing, is you have a
Donald
true-blooded
doesn't.
winner,
Yeah.
and we don't know that Darnold is.
No. It's opposites. It's the guy that hasn't had any experience in doing this that's played better.
I'm about to take the Rams.
You can go ahead.
I'm not doing it, but
Okay,
I'm about
I'll
to.
put you down for the Rams. Okay, what do you got, Drew?
I got the Vikings.
Vikings. So
I
we're all
think
we're
they
all
look
on the
really
same
good.
page. Okay. All right, we're all the same page. Washington versus Tampa Bay. This is in Tampa Bay, right?
Nope.
Yeah. So Washington versus Tampa Bay. Who do you have? This is a hard game to me.
I'm
I
gonna
went
be.
back and forth with this the whole episode.
I
Just
think
thinking about
these
this
are
game.
I got good news for you.
there's 3 teams that
Do you
don't.
want me to pick first? You know who you should pick.
No, I don't need your help. But yeah,
It's the Buccaneers.
you're going Bucks.
Listen, just kind of like what I said, Todd Bowles is an absolute madman when it comes to defensive coordinators. That guy would get a defensive coordinator position on any football team, let alone head coaching positions. I think Baker Mayfield, once again, we talk about a guy that has it. I think Baker Mayfield has it. And I think that team has rallied around Mike Evans this year. They're down a few weapons. Some guys have stepped up. They have a running back by committee that we've never seen before. I mean, they got 4 running backs that they use on a regular basis.
Yeah.
That defense is no slouch still.
Yeah.
And I just feel like Todd Bowles is going to dial it up, and Jaden Daniels is going to see something that he's never seen as a rookie. And I think I've seen it. I've seen Todd Bowles do it before. I've seen him do it multiple times, and I think it's going to happen.
So I'm looking at the Commanders, and they beat the Saints only by once in December. They less than a touchdown. They win over the Falcons.
You should pick the Commanders.
They less than a touchdown beat the Giants. A lot of their wins are barely wins.
It sounds like you
against
should
some
pick
mediocre-
the Commanders.
No, I'm saying they're barely winning against some mediocre teams. They did beat the Eagles.
Wow.
That hurts.
Twice.
I'm done here.
Twice.
I'm out of here. Drew, I only want to be paid this week.
I didn't realize they swept you.
No, they didn't.
Okay.
They didn't sweep us.
It's November 14th, Commanders 18, Eagles 26.
No, we beat them the first time.
Okay, it says here November 14th, Commanders 18, Eagles 26, December 22nd, Eagles 33, Commanders 36.
Are you sure? You're looking at last year. I know what you're looking at last year.
It says 2024.
Yeah, it would have been 2024 when they played their last game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This-
Our last game last year was
Look
against
up the game. Look
Randy,
up the
our
scores.
last game last year was against the Commanders.
Really? Okay.
Yes.
All right.
I'm telling you, we beat them.
We'll see. So who do you have winning? You look up to see what the scores were to the games. But who do you have winning? Washington? This is a hard game for me. Should we let Drew go first?
See, we beat them 26-18 on November 14th, and then we lost to them December 27th.
Oh, okay. This is okay. All right. You're right.
I got you. Don't
Yeah.
worry.
Yeah. So
You
you did
scared
split.
me for a second.
You did split it. I was looking at it wrong. It was a Thursday night game.
I got the Bucks. What do you want? You should take the Commanders. I think that'd be a great pick for you this week. Let me go one up just right away.
I'm not impressed with either team. I'm really not impressed with either team.
I know.
Me too.
I mean, here Tampa Bay was a good, important, and they played a horrible team in New Orleans.
Yeah. I mean, they tried to lose to the division to Atlanta for sure.
Drew, who do you have?
I've gone back and forth with this game the most.
This is the hardest game for me in all of this.
Honestly, I've changed my mind many times.
Okay.
So I'm just gonna go with the current one, which is the Buccaneers.
We got
Ooh.
$2. We'll keep it at 2. I'm gonna go Commanders.
Oh,
I'm doing it. I'm
bam!
going Commanders.
Heck yeah! Randy's going
I'm
one down
tying it
early
up
in the
this time.
season.
I'm the one that's going on the a different way. So
No, that's good because honestly,
that is a
closing
tough
in.
if you
game.
win that though, how good is that gonna feel?
Really good. For me. I ain't gonna lie.
I love it.
It's tough, but I'm actually turned into. I have been rooting for Baker. I've changed, and I would like to see him. So that was what was keeping me there. But they also just came off from a big high. So good for them. But I'm gonna go Washington. Okay, AFC, Denver,
Easy.
Buffalo.
We don't need to talk about it.
Okay, so you're picking Denver. I'm gonna go with Buffalo.
I got Buffalo, Randy.
Okay, Buffalo. Okay, what about you, Drew?
Obviously Buffalo.
Okay, all three of us have
I
Buffalo.
will say I'm gonna watch this game only because I am so excited to see Superman on a football field.
yeah.
He's gonna put the cape on for all these games.
Just think if he falters, though. I mean,
yeah.
that would be a shame. Him and Lamar Jackson. I hope they both don't. I hope they both play really well because the critics will be out in full force. Okay, this is so. Who do you have? This next game is an interesting game. Chargers and Texans.
I'm gonna go with Chargers on this one.
I'm gonna be honest with you. This is actually the hardest one for me.
Okay,
I thought this was the
is
I
hardest.
thought
second.
about this one a lot too.
This is the second hardest one.
Drew,
for
you're
me.
going Chargers.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go Chargers.
Actually, I don't hate that, Drew. That's not bad.
I'm going Chargers also.
Are you? I'm gonna go Chargers. I think. Listen,
Okay.
I thought about the Texans. This is the problem. Is I think D'Amico Ryans has that defense turned all the way up.
Yeah,
But they've had some injuries over the
the
year.
injuries are going to hurt them.
The Al Shazier thing, I think it changed the complete direction and identity of that team. I don't know. And then, man,
You want to go Texans, don't you?
I do.
If-
But it's just like it doesn't make any sense. Like,
If Dell was there, what would you do?
if Dell was there,
Who's got a
I don't
better
think
ass?
Dell completely changes it for me. You know what would have changed it for me is I'm blanking their running back's name. Why can't I not remember this right now?
Oh,
What? I know. Hold up. Sorry, this never
but
happens.
so
He was on my fantasy football team.
So if I'm understanding this right, we're all Chargers.
Yeah.
Yep.
We're all Chargers.
Joe Mixon.
Mixon.
This is the reason why I don't feel good about taking the Texans here. It's because of Joe Mixon. At the end of the season, he had 2 opportunities against 2 solid defenses to perform, and he did not. It was miserable. It was terrible.
Yeah.
Even if you had Tank Dell back, it couldn't make up the fact that running game was nowhere to be found.
Yeah.
And the Chargers have a solid run defense.
Yeah.
So, anyways, I'm going Chargers.
Okay. Last game, the Steelers, who have had a great year, rough ending,
I hate the Steelers.
versus the Ravens. And Drew, you want to pick this game first? I'll let you go first.
Listen, I know I don't like the Steelers, but unbiasedly, I do think the Ravens are a superior team.
Okay.
I also want this to be the game that the Steelers suffer.
All right. So you've got Ravens and hoping for 2 things. The Ravens win and the Steelers suffer. What
And it would
about
be glorious.
what about you, Trent?
You remember when we talked about, like, if the Eagles beat the Steelers, Craig could come on the show?
Yeah.
I'm not
ain't
going to say
happening.
it this time. I'm not going to say it this time because I should really not say that very often.
It ain't happening.
It ain't happening.
No.
And you know what?
No.
I'm infuriated by the Steelers situation. I want Russell Wilson to finally get the nail in the coffin. I do.
Me too.
I don't like how things played out in Denver with Russell Wilson. He collected a boatload of cash, did absolutely nothing for 2 years. And then he goes to the Steelers, doesn't earn the starting role. It's gifted to him after Justin Fields wins 4 games and loses 1. He takes over. He has the best defense in the NFL, so of course he wins football games by field goals, mind you.
Yeah, Boswell.
By field goals. He didn't win any football games by touchdowns.
Yeah.
He won every game by field goals.
Yeah.
One at one point is like 26 points in field goals.
Yeah, he
insane.
made a couple major blunders in this last game.
And I want this whole show, this whole horse and pony show or wagon and pony show, whatever you call it. I want it to be over. And I love Craig, and honestly, as a Pennsylvania fan, I do want to see the Steelers do good. I don't actually have any hate versus Steelers.
Yeah.
I actually do want to see them do good. In fact, I sent Craig halfway through the season. I sent this Steelers hype video, and I thought it was the coolest Steelers hype video. And the culture that they've built in that football team is so cool, and I love so much about it. I don't like the horse and buggy show with Russell Wilson. I'm not going to do it. I'm out.
Ravens.
I just can't do it. I'm taking the Ravens.
You got the Ravens. I've got the Ravens. I think with Derrick Henry, Lamar Jackson, and company, it's too much. It's too much. I think they're going to win. I think the Steelers have really struggled down the stretch, although playing very difficult teams. You know what I love about the NFL? One of the things I think is really cool is stories can be made. This is the time where people can end up making a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
If you go on a 3-game run, 2, 3, 4 games, depending on what team you're on, run, you can be a hero forever. Joe Flacco got the biggest contract because he went on a little run in the playoffs.
Yep.
And Russell Wilson, we're just talking about him. If he was to go on some crazy run right now, everybody the whole story would switch on him. I don't think that's going to happen. I've got the Ravens winning this pretty big, but it'll be interesting in the NFL playoffs who will rise and who will fall. That's kind of the cool stories, but we all have Ravens. We need to talk about college football.
All right, let's do it.
All 4 lower seeds won.
Should we just come out and say, no, well, technically,
Yeah.
was Penn State was technically
They were a lower seed than Boise
that's
State.
true.
Yeah, Boise State.
Should
had
we
the
just
bye,
come
too.
out and say that we got every pick wrong?
We don't need to come out and say it, no. But if you want to watch last week's
No,
podcast,
no. Technically, Boise State was the lower seed. They were positioned differently because of the conference thing, so it's confusing.
well, they had the bye.
And technically, Arizona State was the lower seed to Texas.
I thought, okay.
And okay, I got it right. Yeah. So technically, Notre Dame and Ohio State were the upsets. Texas and Penn State were not upsets. Only reason Boise State had a bye is because of the conference championships.
Okay.
Any conference champions
Right.
got buys. So let me just come out and say, we did. We'll start with what we got right. Ohio State won the football game.
We did get that right.
Very
Poor Oregon,
handedly.
Poor Oregon struggles
Very
all
handedly.
the time during this.
Listen, I don't know what's in the water down there, but it's got to have heavy lead in it because they do nothing but choke every single year.
I felt so bad for Grant.
No, I feel terrible.
Well, I really did.
Like the Dylan Gabriel kid, the quarterback. He has an amazing season. And he just he didn't know how to throw a football all of a sudden.
Yeah.
And it was like, what happened? I feel bad for Oregon in general. They pay all this money for these kids to come and play football.
Yeah.
And it's like there's a curse on that football field.
Yep.
They need to do something to remove the hex from that
Yep.
football field because something's going on down there.
Oh man, that was.
I feel
was rough.
bad for him.
Who
That
do you-
Ohio State team has turned all the way up.
They
though, man.
did,
Holy
yeah.
smokes.
Especially since that Michigan whole debacle.
Yep. That's good for him.
That was interesting. So who do you have winning right now? You've got Ohio State,
Oh, it's easy.
You-
Ohio State. It's not even
Texas.
close.
Okay, you got Ohio State winning. I do too.
Texas versus Ohio State's really the championship. I don't see Notre
I
Dame
know.
Penn State winning.
No, but who do you have?
But I
Notre
said
Dame.
that about them against Boise State.
Who-
Ashton Genty went out there and ran the ball like a 12-year-old girl.
I'm
I'm
wondering.
like, what is going on right now?
I'm wondering right now. You got did he fall more or Arizona State's running back rise more?
I don't know. The Scatabo? That guy's
yeah.
an animal.
I know.
We watched him run the ball, and we were like,
Yeah.
where was Ashton doing that?
Yeah.
That's what Ashton's supposed to be doing.
I think. I wonder who
You know what's crazy?
who moved the most
Is he
because
willing?
they definitely did this.
I don't think Cam's even gonna go in the first round. That's what's crazy.
really.
Yeah. I honestly,
Hmm.
that's what I heard from GMs talking about him.
Okay.
Is he's not gonna go in the first round. And that's crazy to me. That guy was an animal.
I don't know. After what just happened,
He runs like a madman.
if he goes in the second round, Dallas is going to be praying and saying, "I'm not going to take a running back because there's now two."
Mm-hmm.
And I could see Dallas not taking a running back in the first
Oh
round.
my gosh. You imagine Dallas gets one of those guys.
Yeah.
Anyways, I completely wrong about Ashton Genty. That
That
Penn
was a
State
man.
defense really did some work on them. I don't know what happened. I think their whole game plan was to stop them. So to be fair to Ashton, they probably loaded the box enough to where it is an issue.
So who
Notre
do you
Dame,
have-
Georgia. I don't know what's going on there.
Wasn't that crazy?
Yeah, and then Arizona State, Texas. That game should never have been that close, but man, that was fun to watch.
That was the last bit of that game. Arizona State, they made it fun.
Oh, it was electric.
That was a fun. I went back and watched that. That was good. So we got Notre Dame winning. We got Penn State. Who do you have winning that game? Who's making it?
Give me Penn State.
Who's going to lose against Ohio State?
Yeah, give me Penn State.
Penn State.
Yep, I'm taking Penn State. I feel pretty good about that.
You do?
Yeah.
Why? What makes you just?
I just feel like the Penn State team. So they played Oregon pretty close, and the thing is like that defense looked pretty good against Oregon actually, and Oregon at that point was what we thought is by far the best team in the league. And I don't know. I just like Notre Dame. Nothing about them really excited me when they beat Georgia.
I'm going Notre Dame.
Really?
I'm going Notre Dame losing to Ohio State.
Who do you feel in that team's leading them to victory?
But I want to say this. If you redid this whole thing again, I think you'd have drastically different teams.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's just that's what's fun about this.
Yeah.
Is one game. This is what's so beautiful. In basketball, it's different. It's harder to lose when you're the better team because you have so many games to play. But in this situation, Ohio State, Texas.
And now we look back and we see that Tennessee held their own against Ohio State for a whole half.
Yep, they maybe.
And now we're like, well, maybe Tennessee didn't play that bad.
Well, we'll see going forward. I want to just say this to end. Drew helped bring this up to me. This has been 2024 was a rough year for me. Not that anybody really cares and anybody's losing sleep over it, but I'm just going to tell you about my sports situation. It started off with my 49ers in the Super Bowl, which is a great moment in our revenge game, and we lose against the Chiefs again. And it's the only time a team has ever been ahead in overtime in the Super Bowl and lost. And we used a third-round pick on a kicker who stinks. I mean, I'm sorry, Moody. I feel bad for you, but we got to move on from you. Misses an extra point in the Super Bowl. He did make a couple long kicks.
That's such a
in the Super
dagger.
Bowl.
That's such a dagger, though.
So that's how I start 2024 off. Depressed, discouraged. I'm going to work through it, okay? Then, as a San Francisco Giants fan, there's one rival that you really, really hate, and it's the Los Angeles Dodgers. And although they did some spectacular things with Freddie freaking Freeman, they are my least favorite team. I took my daughter Grace to a game in L.A., and they gave me a free sweatshirt. Both Grace and I got free sweatshirts in the game. I refused to wear it. It got cold that night, didn't care. Gave the sweatshirt away. Grace will witness it. I was there, and I would not wear it. They win the World Series in spectacular fashion. And I also have, sandwiched in between that, my least favorite franchise by far of anything ever, the Celtics. I absolutely hate the Celtics.
Big Celtics
I
hater.
grew up, and what do? They win the championship. 3 things go on that were absolutely atrocious, and it was a rough year. So I am looking forward to 2025 being a great year, and I'm just going to say we got all the crap over with, and we got a great year coming. Thank you guys for joining us. Please subscribe. We're on our way to 200. Be a part of it. Appreciate all the support. It has been fun, and we are getting more and more of you, and we just really appreciate it. So thank you, and we will see you next week. NFL playoffs are here. Enjoy.